All right, so a lot of people have been looking at doing lantern styles lights for their illumination project. So we're going to take a look today about how we could make a lantern style light using Fusion 360 and design it around cutting it out of the laser cutter. So first thing that I want to do is set up some parameters around the material that I'm going to use and the sizes of my lantern. So I'm going to click on Modify, Change Parameters, and open up my parameters. Now we've done this quite a few times. First one that I always want to do, my thickness. I'm going to set that to my default 3 millimeters for the laser. We might have different material for the laser, but by default we try to use 3 mil. But if you get something different, we can change it at that point in time. I'm also going to add the width of my lantern. It'll probably be the same as the length. So let's go width, and we'll say 200 millimeters. And we'll do another one for the height. And I'm going to set that at 300 millimeters. And finally, the little fingers that we use to assemble stuff when it comes off the laser, we're going to need to set that in here too. So I'm just going to say tooth for the tooth width. And I'm going to set that at 30. So 30 millimeters. Again, all these can be changed depending on our design later on. Click OK, and now I'm ready to start my sketch. So I can come to the Create Sketch tool, and my planes will show up. I'm not too concerned which one I draw on, so I'll just click on that one to start. And I'm going to draw a rectangle. Coming up, you can see that there's a box that's highlighted blue. If I start typing in my variable for height, you'll see that it shows up. Click on that, and it applies that dimension to that rectangle. If I hit the Tab key on my keyboard, it goes to the other box. And I'm going to set that width. I end up with a rectangle that matches my height and width. You can see the little FX there. That means it's referring to a parameter. Now for most people's, there was a little cut on the inside. So I'm going to use my offset tool here. I'm going to click on that line, and I'm just going to bring this in to where I want it. Now I would think, let's say 3 mils again, looks pretty good. And that's going to make that nice piece around the outside. Finish that sketch. And now I can use the Extrude tool to click on that outside piece and set that to my thickness by typing thickness in the box. Click on that, and now I've got that piece. All right, so now we've got one side drawn. We've got 3 more to go. The next thing I'll do is I'm going to go to Construct, and I'm going to make a new plane off of the front. Now I'm going backwards, and I'm going to set this to negative width divided by 2. So it's going to be half of my width. Hit enter. It's being a bit funny there. Capital. Negative width divided by 2 is case sensitive. And that puts a plane in the middle. From there, I can come to Create and Mirror. This should be set to bodies. If not, set it to bodies. I'm going to click on that one, select my mirror plane, and that mirrors it to the back. Click OK, and now I've got 2 of them. See, put that plane in the middle. If I want to get rid of that plane in the middle, I can come to Construct here and just click the eye next to it. So the next step is I'm going to start a sketch on the side for my other piece. So I'll start a sketch on there, and you'll see now I'm looking at the side of it. If I go to Create, Project, Include, Project, or I can just hit P on the keyboard, click on that, and this is going to allow me to project the 2 sides into my drawing because I'm going to need those. So I project those, click OK. Now those lines are in there, and I'm going to use the rectangle tool again to draw a rectangle from corner to corner. So you can see that it's going all the way around. I'm going to use the offset tool again to click on that, and again I'm going to go in negative 30. Apparently it wants positive 30 this time. So I'm going to go in 30, enter, and that's for the shape around the outside. The other thing I want to do on this side is this is where I want my teeth to sit. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to draw one of my teeth. Now remember, I set that variable for tooth. So I can type in tooth, tab, and remember, this should be thickness. It's going to come by default, but just to be safe, I'm going to type that in there. And you'll see that tooth showing up. So there's one up there. We probably want to add 3. So I'm just going to come down. I'm going to do the same thing. So tooth, tab, thickness. And we'll do another one at the bottom. So this should be tooth, tab, thickness. So there's 3. I think that looks okay. I'm going to go D for dimension. I'm going to add a dimension between here. By the looks of that, I'm just going to go 45 from the top. I'm going to come down to the bottom one. I'll set that as 45 as well. So those are nice and lined up. And this middle one, I'm going to cheat a little bit. See how there's a triangle showing up there? That's indicating the center of that side line. I'm just going to draw a little line there. I'm going to make it a construction line because I'm going to not use it for a feature or anything. But this allows me to set a dimension from here to here. So this should be 50% of that tooth, and that should line it up. So if I click that, divided by 2, and that's going to center that final tooth. So you can see I've got the tooth in there and the 3 other ones lining up. Now I want the same teeth on this side. So again, I'm going to take the line tool, I'll set it to construction, find that triangle. So there's that line. I can use my mirror command again, make a box around everything I have, select that line in the middle. You'll see that they come over, click OK, and now they're on both sides. Finish that sketch, and now I can extrude this in. But remember, we got to come in and we've got to click on the individual teeth just to make sure that they're selected. So there, now the teeth are selected. You can see that it's going currently the wrong way. I want this to go in. So I'm going to pull that in, but I actually want this to be minus, negative thickness. And I also want it not to be an operation of cut. I want this to make a new component. So if I go in here to where it says operation, I can change that to new component and OK. And you'll see now I've got that new piece put in there. One little issue with it, which we'll get back to in a second, but I want this over on the other side as well. So I'm going to go construct again, make a new plane on here. And like last time, I'm going to go negative, uppercase, negative width, divided by 2, make that center plane. And then I'm going to go create mirror. I want that mirrored on that plane. And OK, and you can see now it's on both sides. We'll turn that plane off. Now, issue that we've got, if I turn off those components, there's no holes for them in these other pieces. So what we're going to do is use the combine command, which is this one here. You might have to go modify combine. And we want to cut these sides using these tools. I want to cut, so I set cut, and I want to keep my tools. I click OK, and you can see some of the lines disappeared. But if I remove that, now there's a cut into that piece. If I come back and do the same thing on this side, so combine, target, tool, tool, it's going to be already on cut, and keep tools. I click OK. And now we've got that cut on both sides. Strength-wise, this isn't ideal. If I set these teeth in a little bit more and the side panels in, you're going to get a stronger feature. But based on the designs that I'm seeing that you guys have done, that's probably going to be the best way to do it. Now, flipping it to the bottom, we do need to have something in the bottom to catch our light. Now, you could go corner to corner, or just have a strip going across the bottom, but you will need something. So what I'm going to do here is start a new sketch, start on that plane. So I'm looking at the bottom again. P for projection. I'm just going to grab all of this geometry and bring it into my sketch, like so. So now that geometry is there. And I'm just going to add kind of a star going through the middle here. So I'm going to start off, find my center, got a line there, and I've got a line there. So you can see the triangles symbolizing that that's centered. And I'm going to come in, we'll draw a line like that. Another one like that. That's going to need some dimensions. So let's say from here to that inside, let's say 30 again. From here to here, I can make that the same. Now my teeth that I've been using are 30, so I'm going to have to change something going on there. D for dimension as well. I want to go from here to that point. I also want that to be 30. And from here to here, that should be 30 already. Yeah. So okay, so I've got the lines in there for that piece. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to draw just a little smaller tooth that we can work with. Let's say that's going to be thickness. And let's set that at 20 for now. D for dimension. And I'm going to set that at 5 mils from the edge. So I've got a nice little tooth there. And I can do the exact same thing down on this side. So what do you say? 20, tab, thickness. Getting those dimensions in. D for dimension. From that point to that point, we want that to be 5. And now that's centered in just the way we want it. Now, obviously, I need to have 4 more sides to this piece. But like we did before, we can use that mirror command and mirror this stuff over. I'm just going to hit Shift on the keyboard and grab those as well. My mirror line is here. So I go OK, and you can see there it's gone to that side. We do mirror again. And grab these lines as well. And now my mirror line is here. So you can see that's coming in down at the bottom. I go OK, and that's just going to give me that little bit of structure that the light needs, but at the same time, give me a bit of a gap for the light to come through. Finish that sketch. We can extrude again, remembering to grab those teeth all the way around. Like so. We want that to go again into our material, so negative thickness. We want it to be a new component, and we're going to go OK. We've got that frame in there, and I'm going to use combine again. So target, tool, OK. And we're going to do this to all 4 sides. If you miss any, when we get to the laser cutter, it's going to cause nothing but problems. So make sure you're getting them all. It's the 4th one. So then that gives that nice little piece sitting around the edge. Now, just to show another way that we could do this, I'm going to take this piece and put it down in the bottom as well to give me some more framework. I've got move copy. If I click on this in the center there, I can say create copy. So it's kind of like mirror, but it's not actually mirroring it. And this time I'm setting it in a little bit, which will just give me a bit more structure. So I go OK, and it's going to put that into place. Just set in slightly. And again, we can use that combine tool. Target, tool, OK. Combine, target, tool, OK. And we can go through and do that again. Really easy feature for laser cutting. And that gives us this nice shape that we can use for that lamp. If you're using one of the IKEA lights, you might want to have something in the middle. to support your light, but I'll let you guys figure out how to do that. This video is mostly about just making that frame so you guys can use it in your own projects. All right, that's it for today.